Trusty ape. Okay, back here on this Thursday, the 6th of August, 2026, running the stream. Let's see, let me check my settings here. Microphone settings. What's that? Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, yeah, we'll cut this down. That'd be really loud. Or maybe not, I don't know. We'll find out. Check, check. Microphone check. Check, check. Okay, seems like we're within good range. Doing this stream tonight for a couple hours. What's up, Sammy? Good to see you. Much love. Yeah, no, I was checking my stream. That's why the echo. So now that I heard it, much love, Pixie. Good to see you. Covering the Pangburn Destiny Farina drama again. So I know Pangburn's streaming right now. Some people are asking. He's doing like an AMA on this. I decided to switch up a little bit here. I wanted to go back to this original Destiny video for a little bit. This will be the plan for like maybe a couple hours. Every time I do this, I'll go through and, as I have been, watching a portion of each of these videos. So we'll do this one and then go back to Professor Dave's response, just to kind of get caught up. But this was the original video that he was responding to from Destiny. Professor Dave goes mask off. I have not seen any of this video yet, so we're just starting it together. And then we'll catch up to the present, hopefully pretty quickly, although we'll never be able to outdo the massive coverage Pangburn has done on this. Also, I'm not really going to be fact-checking too much in this segment, although I may, at a later point, check in with what Pangburn's doing with fact-checking and a little bit of my own research there. But really responding mostly to the content, and the way this is kind of unfolded. Side note, personal note, yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about the personal. Some of y'all know. Big love, Will Freeman, good to see you. Yeah, I'm going to try to keep that shit off here. Maybe do a little something about it on the philosophy channel, just on basically my my emotional responses and my ways of kind of coping with that. But yeah, and then Pangburn, I guess, is doing an event. I have it marked on my calendar. I think it's November, here nearby in San Francisco. Sounds like it'll be affordable and local, and I'll be able to go do that. But I still have the dono link to try to get to one of these conventions or conferences, whatever it may be, before the end of the year. We still have BajaCon, Rocket City Reason, I think a couple others coming up over the next few months, so there is still a chance, and links to donate, of course, are down below. Pixie says still absolutely buried in work, probably won't get off till 4 a.m. again, but listening for as long as I can. Well, thank you, and don't work too hard, I'm figuring out my balance with work and everything else I've got going on. I will have some time off upcoming, probably next week, and so we'll dedicate as much of my time, spare time, to streaming as I can during that period, because it's just like a week or so, and then I'll be back to a more regular schedule, but won't be as busy as it has been, and I need to look for maybe another side job, since I am no longer doing my other side job that I was doing. So anyway, that's the update on that. And what's up, Robin Webster? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, Robin's kind of our link to the Pangburn universe over here. She's working with Pangburn, has been heavily involved over there, and still, as much as I may disagree on some of the stances Travis has taken here, again, a big fan and supporter over there. I think he does great work, and encourage everybody to check it out if you haven't. it's a great place to go and have good discourse and listen to some good debates and stuff. So, all right, and hopefully maybe I'll be able to work with Pangburn in the future. It's been on the table in the past, and maybe I wasn't quite there yet, but still possible option for me to network over there. Pixie says balance. I should find that. I went to bed at 4:30 and was clocked in by 8. I should knock that off, but I'm stubborn. For sure. All right, we'll hop into the video here, and we'll try to skip over Destiny's little freaking intro here.
In perpetual victim complex. As much as they want, and if anyone
so hard, holy shit, he's obsessed.
I'm not sure if you noticed, but the whole world despises your ideology. The world knows you're going to hasten your demise tenfold. So keep it up, you worthless Zionist pile of filth.
And I didn't mention Judaism. I said Zionism. Get a grip. This kind of like rhetoric right here, you even know you don't. This is Nazism right here, right? Deception and victimization are like the two key pillars of kind of neo-Nazi belief. It's the idea that Jews are secretly behind the scenes controlling everything to deceive you, and they deceive you about that control. And then the self-victimization is they constantly have to center their victimhood so that they have an infinite blank check basically to deceive you and to control society. It's kind of crazy to do this, but whatever.
I hate when they do that, but okay, here we go.
Professor Dave deletes comments calmly accusing him of anti-Semitism. Do not brigade, do not harass Dave, do not interact with Dave. This is not a call to action. If you're going to do anything, simply verify what I'm saying is true by checking for yourself. The purpose of this Reddit post is to preemptively dispel the claim that I've doctored. These images are used and inspected to fabricate comments. These findings and the comments I receive on the Reddit post may end up in a YouTube video of my own creation. Wait, who the fuck is this? I am not Jewish, and I do not represent the Jewish community. I'm not a spokesperson for the Jewish.
Tomorrow is Mod's B-Day? Oh, well, happy birthday in advance. I might stop by for that for a little bit if I can. Or at least say a happy birthday, although I'll probably be working whenever if she streams. Tomorrow happens to be my my ex's birthday too, so clever coincidence there. But anyway, all right, continue.
Community. You can find recently deleted comments from the YouTube comment section, sorted newest first, and compare it to the same portion of the comment section viewed from a comment viewer website, which retains some deleted comments for a period of time, even after the deletion from YouTube. However, this method is inconsistent. Some deleted comments will successfully disappear from the comment viewer website, especially for some time. There's a pattern to the comments which appear on the comment viewer website, but not on YouTube, meaning they were likely deleted. Dave has been obsessively glued to his comment section for days. To be fair, I have too. Responding almost immediately to antagonism, even at late hours of the night. Corresponding with his activity online, some comments that
so this is a random Reddit thread?
That articulately call him out.
Random, obviously, but yeah, just a Reddit thread, okay.
On his seemingly racial rhetoric disappear. This to me is unacceptable for a science communicator of his magnitude. That is, if they were indeed deleted by Dave, which is speculation, but I find to be likely.
Hey everyone, many of you saw my 2 videos.
Oh, we watched some of this, yeah. He does a little bit of weird, okay. There are 4 types of YouTube comments that interest this discussion. One is tepid criticism. These comments are articulate, gently correcting Dave on his language, but don't call Dave out too harshly. These comments.
Now I wonder if there's a Reddit thread about me. I should really look on Reddit, I guess. I never go on that fucking site.
Stay up. Dave ignores them entirely, except for maybe, like, one. Amateur criticism, less articulate, may contain a logical flaw that Dave can deflect with a pithy reply.
Just kidding. We all know I'm not important enough to have a Reddit thread.
I didn't mention Jews a single time, dickbag. Articulate criticism, sensible, clinical, uncompromising comments which spotlight Dave's rhetoric, often but not always deleted, and then straight up anti-Semitism. These comments are sometimes removed, oftentimes they stay up. The articulate criticisms category is of great interest to me. It's possible I missed other articulate criticisms that were deleted before. Quick sanity check. That rant about Ashkenazi Jews aren't Semites, and the following chosen people joke at the end of the video is like stuff you'd hear Nick Fuentes saying, like that is purely racialized arguments to get an own on your opposition. Accuracy be damned. I expect so much more from you, dude. Deleted. Got him. Some notable comments all deleted. Anti-Semitism has referred exclusively to Jew hatred since the late 1800s. The word Semite. This is like a weird kind of...
Why does it say verifiable? How do you verify how the comment was deleted, that it wasn't like flagged by YouTube or reported by another user, not necessarily deleted by Dave himself? How do you find that out?
Whatever Palestinian...
I don't think they would tell you. They wouldn't tell you how it got deleted, right? Like whether the creator had done it or whether it was flagged in some other fashion, right?
I call this an anti-Semitic dog whistle. It kind of is, but it's like from the weird, like, I think Nation of Islam might be the group. I should learn these better. And then some Palestinian people will claim that, like, oh, we're the true Semites, and the Jewish people actually aren't Semites at all. They're all European or whatever. It's like a, is it the Black Hebrew Israelites might be it. They try to claim that, like, Ashkenazi Jews actually aren't Semitic people or aren't of Jewish ethnicity at all. They're just all European, Polish, Anglo-Saxon, or whatever the fuck. Anti-Semitism is referred exclusively to Jew hatred since the late 1800s. The word Semite, on the other hand...
Semite refers to... Semite is an obsolete 19th century term for a member of any... Wait, it says a Semite is an obsolete... AI overview. Obsolete 19th century term for a member of any ancient or modern people who speak a Semitic language. The word originates from Shem, one of Noah's sons in the Bible. Today, the term Semitic is used mostly in linguistics, while Semite, as an ethnic label, is largely outdated. So that seems to be present-day spin. So that seems like a post hoc rationalization for saying, well, if you're Jewish, then... but, you know, most of them probably don't speak the language. I mean, as far as like the total number of Jews worldwide, well, I guess they have to be able to at least have some knowledge of the language in order to do mitzvah, right? Like, that's one of the requirements. Is that right? But I don't know enough about Judaism. But it seems like Semite is kind of a nebulous term, right?
Is obsolete terminology, which originally referred to ethnic groups from the Middle East and Africa, now is no longer in use. European...
that's not what we just read. But okay, that's what this user commented.
Jews would have been considered Semites since they descended from Middle Eastern Jews. Your interpretation of anti-Semitism is applying to Palestinians, not European Jews, is incorrect. Deleted. 827.
Right, yeah, I knew YouTube would not tell you. You would not be able to verify. Yes.
This is kind of a mega racist tirade, not going to lie. Firstly, that map you show isn't a genetic map of Jewish races. Ashkenazi, Sephardi, and Mizrahi are not racial categories. They are liturgical categories. They have different religious rites and, more visibly, different Hebrew accents. You playing into this racial framing from just the other direction is genuinely very concerning. Semitic is a linguistic category rather than a racial one because Hebrew and Arabic are sister languages within the Semitic family. Both Jews and Palestinians are linguistic. Okay, I'll delete it. Delete. My comment. Hell yeah. Delete. According to Dave, the claim that Jews were persecuted throughout history is made up. What? I did a little digging, and I think Dave's claim relates to the fact that the Jews' enslavement in Egypt isn't backed up by historical records. Okay, that's true, supposedly. I mean, I think that's true. I don't think that's historically accurate.
Yeah, in fact, it's historically... there's more evidence against it, right? Like, there's more... because they have so much archaeological evidence to say that there is no extra biblical evidence to verify the claim, right? That's the only source.
The Jews are 100%
There's no
Semitic.
archaeological evidence, nothing.
No, okay, gotcha, buddy. Other than that, I'd invite you to go and explore the Wikipedia page for history of anti-Semitism. We're going to slowly scroll down. I mean, yes, if Dave's reasoning for making this claim relates to the... Wait, hold on. I'm curious how he says this.
History.
Was it in this video?
Space, you guys. That's why space is so awesome, because aliens won't hate Jews.
So that reminds me of another book, was the A History of Egypt. Let me see if I can find that. Another one that I've read a couple of times, or audiobooked, is this... it was a deep dive. Oh, Google's going to make me do this. Really good one, if I can find it, is The Rise and Fall of Ancient Egypt. This is it. Toby Wilkinson. Yeah, highly disputes and says actually that because the Egyptian records are so meticulous, and there is no evidence of the Jewish enslavement at that time in the Egyptian records, it's highly unlikely that it ever happened, right? It's a fairy tale.
Jews have always been persecuted at all times through all of history, or at least that's a made-up thing we say all the time. And aliens can bring Jews to the promised land, which is on another planet. Earth will be swallowed up by the sun in its red giant phase, so the alien Mashiach has to come save the Jews and bring us to the promised land from the Torah. Then Jews can have synagogues on other planets and keep existing for trillions of years, free from all the stupid anti-Semitism everywhere on this stupid planet. Future space Jews, you guys. We're the chosen people, after all.
Okay. It's kind of a little unhinged, but okay. Hey, Dave. Just FYI, Zio isn't short for Zionist. It's a David Duke's invented slur for Jewish people as a whole. Zio is literally a shortened version of Zionist, so I'm going to stick with that. Yeah, like Jap.
I think I saw it when Travis was reviewing a video where this somebody was making a similar argument, like yesterday or something. I was watching. He was using that there was including Hassan Piker was doing the interview. I don't remember who the other guy was, but he kind of used that exact same argument right there. I don't know where they get that from, but
I'm sure there are other. I don't know.
No. Yeah, he said it, and then Hassan said, "Oh yeah, David Duke also said that," or something like that.
Yeah, there's but Bonger Packy. Yeah, just an abbreviation, bro. YouTube and then comment viewer. Deleted. Delete. Articulate criticism. Delete. Not deleted. Good job. Below is a comment I got my friend to post on his video. It was deleted. Wow. Snarking? Getting your friend to post comments? So Hitler and Nazis.
I mean, so again, if they're bombing him, that could qualify under harassment, right? Where they're bombarding him with comments in like a similar fashion. Again, sometimes content creators send their followers out to do shit like this, like we addressed with the X thread, right?
Weren't anti-Semitic for killing 6 million Jews? Yes, that counts. Good job. You got it. I wish you'd mention anti-Semitism less. You have genuine important points.
He just skipped over Dave's responses because that was a section there. He just skipped completely over that, it looks like.
To make regarding Zionism and genocide arguably more, or important as debunking.
Look, back here. Dave's responses.
Nazis weren't anti-Semitic for killing 6 million Jews? Yes, that counts. Good job. You got it. I wish you'd mention anti-Semitism less. You have genuine important points to make regarding Zionism and genocide arguably more, or important as debunking pseudoscience, but bringing them into all sorts of pseudoscience debunking just muddies the water. You helped me deprogram from my scientifically absurd upbringing, and for that I'll forever be grateful. Please help others understand Avi is a grifter fraud without bringing Judaism into it one step at a time, mate. There's no muddying the waters here, sweetie. Avi is a Zionist douche, using the Zionist playbook of deception and victimization. And I didn't mention Judaism.
Oh, wait, this is one of Dave's responses. He just skipped through them, I guess, to whatever he felt was most relevant at the end.
I said Zionism, get a grip. This kind of like rhetoric right here, you know you don't. This is Nazism right here, right? Deception and victimization are like the two key pillars of kind of neo-Nazi belief. It's the idea that Jews are secretly behind the scenes controlling everything to deceive you, and they deceive you about that control. And then the self-victimization is they constantly harp about the Holocaust. Oh my God, we get it. But the reason why they have to harp about the Holocaust is because they have to center their victimhood so that they have an infinite blank check basically to deceive you and to control society. It's kind of crazy to do this, but whatever. Oh, wait. He said Zionist, though. Never mind. We're good. Would you call Vaush?
I mean, Zionists, actual Zionists, tend to refer to themselves as Zionists. Anybody's using it as a pejorative, maybe people would recoil at that, right? But people who are, there are many people who proudly call themselves Zionists. They have no issue with it, right?
A Nazi then? Yes. Most, or not, I wouldn't call him a Nazi, but I would say that the talking points are all Nazi talking points. The leftist like position now, when I say leftist, I mean like the Hassan Vaush position on Jews are indistinguishable from neo-Nazis. It is overlap, the exact same thing. Just replace Jew with Zionist, and it's the exact same criticism. Tepid criticism. Delete.
There are Christian Zionists, as a matter of fact, as well, right? So, yeah.
Slightly concerning comments. Being labeled anti-Semitic puts you in good company. Miss Rachel made Stop Anti-Semitism's top 10 list, and Greta Thunberg has also been labeled anti-Semitic by a Zionist organization. By weaponizing the term, the Zionists have perverted its meaning to now mean all those against genocide and the slaughter, burning alive, mutilation, and starvation of brown children. So now being labeled anti-Semitic is a badge of honor. Yeah, I was only saying anti-Semitic of the week. I have some work to do. When a Ziobot speaks, it's always a lie. So sad. At this point, it feels like if someone is accusing you of being anti-Semite, you're probably making a good point. Limpheo. King. Why do you keep bringing up Israel if he's a Zionist?
I would wonder how that kind of just the statement he made about brown people generally, and it reminded me of like the George Carlin bit where he was like, Was he saying that we're like our big business is like bombing brown people, like that's what we do, um, as Americans, right? And it got me to thinking. I was like, okay, because we have the European Jewish class, right, and all of that. I wonder, um, generally speaking, like how do they self-identify? How do most Israelis identify? Are most Israelis of like brown, uh, uh, like Middle Eastern descent, or are most Israelis light-skinned and of European descent? Generally, I don't know. Maybe it's something we could research.
Show where you're getting that from. Also, even if he is, you shouldn't even use that against his alien claim.
What's up, to freak? Good to see you. Yeah, that guy over there, he's a fucking character. Where I just saw you at. Yeah, maybe something to cover for later. Who's that? What? Captain Skeleton Band? You? Oh no. What a weirdo. I still need to check that guy out. I haven't seen too much of him. Only his interactions on other channels and stuff.
They're completely unrelated. No! It's very related, since he's a worthless Zionist piece of shit being propped up by the Zio lobby and using Zio tactics to justify fraudulence and genocide. Get lost. Disgusting and dishonest like the average Israeli. Okay. Mossad. Zio plays the victim and pulls out the antiseptic card. How predictable. His PhD was promised 3,000 articles ago. Oh, that's kind of funny. Classic Juice. Oh, Juice is like Jews?
Oh, I love this response. It says, the AI overview, of course, says, no, most Israelis are not white. The concept of Western racial categories does not easily apply to Israel's diverse population, which includes a large majority of non-European Jews and non-Jewish citizens. So they're just so diverse that they can't even give me demographic breakdown. Okay, what's this? Mizrahi and Sephardic Jews are the majority of Jewish Israelis, trace their roots to the Middle East, North Africa, and the broader Mediterranean Asia region. Ashkenazi Jews, Jews of European descent, make up roughly 30% of the Israeli Jewish population, while some individuals of European Jewish background have light skin. Whiteness is a Western social construction that does not align with their historical or ethnic identity. Well, kudos to them. They don't have to identify as white, even if they are. Arab citizens. About 21% of Israelis' total population consists of Arab citizens, Muslim, Christian, and Druze, who are indigenous to the Middle East and other communities, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So wait. 30% are white, 21% are Arab. That's more than 50%. And the other 50% are actually locals, I guess. I don't know. Kind of weird, right?
Classic Juice playing the victim card as usual. What is it with Jays and aliens? Jew will Jew. Wait, a Jewish scientist making up shit and lying about it? Say it ain't so.
How does the 21% Arab population feel about the whoever that guy was who was like, we need to like get rid of these camel riders or whatever it was he said, right?
Nice to see Dave exposing Jews who hate Jesus and Gentiles. What? You can call your friend a Jew, but you cannot ever call a Jew your friend. God damn. I stopped clipping coins to watch this video. Oy vey, goy. Stop exposing my grift. That's anti-Semitic. Jews.
Anti-Semitic. What's going on over here? Yeah, Sammy says not a big loss. Okay, we got some side chat banter. Feeling he's going to become embedded in our little circles. Pixie says, I don't have any circles, just a couple of people to say hello to. Fair enough.
Who are largely in charge of the government or in positions of power. Base Professor. Okay, he deleted that one. That's good. He got the double swastika one. Pretty sure he was banned from Twitter and X for anti-Semitism. Jesus Christ. Yes, he complained about getting banned in one of his videos. Was it the Juice? That's news to me. Does anyone have an
Twitter and X as if it's like two separate things?
Actually, I have an archive of his tweets. I'm wondering what the fuck you're upset to get banned for anti-Semitism on X of all places. Here's an archive of it for you to make up
Well,
your
I think
mind.
you just have to piss off Elon Musk personally, and then you'll definitely get banned.
Israel are Nazis who have murdered thousands of babies. The cartoons are accurate. Stop pretending he would harm a Jewish patient just because he knows that Israel is committing a genocide. I wonder who's responding to. Okay. IDF rapes and kidnaps Palestinians. If the world does nothing, they will do it forever. They're the kings of terrorism. IDF is committing genocide and also rapes Palestinian girls all the time. So what the fuck are you smoking? Wow, fabricating rapes is one thing. Now you're fabricating rape babies? That's fucked up. If you feel the need to tweet about one innocent dead woman in a truck, but have never tweeted about the thousands of innocent Palestinians who are brutally murdered on a daily basis under an illegal military occupation, you are part of the problem. It's not a Jewish organization. He's the president of AIPAC, the most influential lobby in America that keeps billions of dollars flowing to Israel with which to commit genocide. He should be in prison with a death sentence. Haha, minimize non-combatant casualties. Holy fuck, you are naive. Israel routinely does what Hamas did. They did it today. Who's talking about it? Fucking nobody. That's on October 10th. Wait, when are these tweets? Holy shit. October 8th was about the dead woman in the truck. Sheesh. Okay. Even if you AFK the Abby vid, I'll be able to attach the Reddit reading segment to it and clickbait it. It's just him talking about a fake science slobber. Okay, here you go.
Many of you saw my 2 videos exposing Avi Loeb, the Harvard astronomer from Israel who lies about space stuff to sell
Okay, now we'll get into the video about 10 almost 11 minutes in.
dumb books. Well, he saw them too, and he's pretty mad about them, especially since he's hoping to gear up for round 4 of his Grifter playbook. Let's catch up with Avi the Fraud, shall we? Once again, if you're unfamiliar with Avi, or generally unaware of what a disgusting weasel he is, you should definitely watch these 2 videos first. But if you already have and you need a quick refresher, let's summarize the last 10 years of grifting from Avi. This first video goes over his first 2 rounds of grifting. We talked about his script of lies in 2018 regarding exocomet Oumuamua, which he pretended was an alien spacecraft with zero basis in order to sell a shitty book. In all of his output, he lied about Oumuamua's dimensions, he ignored aspects of its behavior, he exaggerated deviations from its expected orbit while ignoring the obvious explanations that his colleagues provided, and more. He told the public that a comet was aliens because it's a fun story to make money. Then in 2023, he took an adventure off the coast of Papua New Guinea to illegally recover material from the sea.
Oh, we have returned. Let's see, hopefully I don't get interrupted here. I don't expect an interruption, but it could happen. We'll see. So Avi Loeb, Abraham, also known as Avi Loeb, is an Israeli-American theoretical physicist who works on astrophysics and cosmology. Loeb is the Frank B. Baird Jr. Professor of Science at Harvard University. He chaired the Department of Astronomy from 2011 to 2020 and founded the Black Hole Initiative in 2016. So that's who Avi Loeb is. Okay, and I don't really know much about him beyond that, other than what's been said in some of these videos.
That he pretended was pieces of an alien spacecraft which had crashed into the Earth 9 years prior. In reality, the object in question was just a regular solar system bolide, meaning a meteor. It wasn't an interstellar object like he claimed. The spherules he recovered were just some bits of rock, and they weren't from the bolide he pretended they were from. They had been sitting down there for thousands of years. This can all be easily confirmed by the ratio of iron isotopes and several other independent threads of inquiry. He lied about all of this.
So he seems to possibly believe that aliens have visited Earth or something, or we have evidence of extraterrestrial life. Was that what that was? I'm confused. Spheral manuscript. What the fuck is it?
To illegally recover material from the seafloor that he pretended was pieces of an alien spacecraft which had crashed into the Earth 9 years prior. In reality,
No, he's saying he pretended. He pretended that that was the case.
Object in question was just a regular solar system bolide, meaning a meteor. It wasn't an interstellar object like he claimed. The spherules he recovered were just some bits of rock, and they weren't from the bolide he pretended they were from. They had been sitting down there for thousands of years. This can all be easily confirmed by the ratio of iron isotopes and several other independent threads of inquiry. He lied about all of this so he could pretend to find alien stuff while being filmed by a Netflix crew, since Graham Hancock was getting a little lonely as the only worthless pseudoscientific fraud on the streaming service. Then my second video covers his third and most recent round of grifting surrounding another extrasolar object named 3I Atlas, an exocomet that was in the news quite a bit last summer. From the first
Justin, wait, hold on. I'm reading comments. Damn it, I will get sidetracked with comments here. So the YouTube, are you talking about Deconstruction Zone? Or a different Justin? I don't know. Algorithm can steer people anywhere it wants, but that guy has been beat up on Justin Smokies, and now in jails is a clear sign. Fair enough. And Freak says Destiny's one of those people I actually don't like. Yeah, I have a number of issues with him. I mean, so I think sometimes I enjoy him, but most of the time I don't. But I happen to, yeah. Okay, everything else. Okay, we'll leave there.
moment it was discovered by the actual scientists who actually do this research, it was very well understood to be a typical comet. There was nothing anomalous about it whatsoever. And yet, Avi immediately began making unsubstantiated claims about all kinds of alleged anomalies to pretend that the comet was an alien spacecraft. Lies about its mass, composition, trajectory, acceleration, outgassing of material, its tail, absolutely everything was distorted by Avi to make it seem like aliens. Nothing about it.
Okay, but he's just saying that he used that as an excuse to go and get these materials, right? Okay, so I mean that's weird, but I don't know if it's highly unethical, right? You have to have some justification behind these types of things. I guess you have to convince the people funding it.
It was
right?
even remotely uncomet-like for a single second since its discovery, yet Avi lied his ass off in countless blog posts and unpublished, non-peer-reviewed preprints to get more famous and sell yet another shitty book. If you're someone who fell for Avi's fabric...
Wait, was it to do the research or just sell the book? It's got to be, I don't think, well, I guess it could be both, but that would be pretty complex conspiracy.
Hated anomalies, make sure to watch this second video to learn about what a deceptive loser he truly is, as I take every single one of his bullshit claims and compare them in extreme detail to what the primary literature actually says, courtesy of people who actually study comets for a living. And anyone who references Avi's humility, that he only points at possibilities and never labels anything with certainty, you got scammed. Claims like 60% chance of being aliens should be essentially zero if he was intellectual.
60% chance? That's a little wild. Okay, we're over the half-hour mark. We'll go to about 15 minutes of this video, I think, and then return to Professor Dave.
Be honest, since there was no evidence whatsoever that pointed
yeah, it's gonna be a jump
to anything other than it being an exocomet. So in summary, these two videos outline in painstaking detail 3 rounds of the Avi Loeb grifter playbook. 3 rounds of stepping outside of his expertise, distorting data, making baseless sensationalist claims, avoiding legitimate avenues of publication and peer review, lying directly to the...
Well, is he's stepping outside of his expertise? Was he working with people in that field is the question, because he could be multidisciplinary, right?
press to gain notoriety and sell books, and then whining about how any and all pushback from experts in the field...
Interdisciplinary, sorry. It's called interdisciplinary.
...can only be happening because they are jealous, closed-minded, gatekeeping, meanie-pants doo-doo heads, not because they are accurately prosecuting his corruption and fraudulence. As I've said before...
I find it funny when Dave goes to, like, the third-grade insults. I do think that's pretty hilarious. Yeah, lots of fraud in science like this happen with fossils, too. Well, I mean, some. I don't know if there's as many in paleontology, but there's definitely some of those.
This is the playbook of a charlatan and media whore, not a scientist.
Whoa!
And indeed, when he's called out for his...
There's just a lot more people in academia now than, you know, in the past. Like, I can't say, like, how long, but there's the in some ways the floodgates are open. But a lot of these people are like grandfathered in as well. So
grotesque behavior by academics and science communicators alike. He throws the most pathetic toddler tantrums imaginable. He will dismiss, discount, minimize, misquote, and mischaracterize every single legitimate scholar who debunks his baseless claims, always playing the victim of ivory tower academia, which he ironically epitomizes. Sometimes he has public outbursts like he did with Jill Tarter, former director of SETI.
Now, some of us...
No, let me finish. How dare people make statements about scientists that explore these possibilities within the scientific method? That's the acidic culture that I'm talking about. There is an acidic culture that suppresses innovation.
Does he say acidic or Hasidic? I'm having trouble.
In the current culture of science.
Hasidic, right?
And the best example is SETI.
This one in particular was so egregious that he had to offer a half-assed formal apology. And then there are his misadventures trying to manipulate hundreds of millions of dollars out of the federal government for work that other people actually already do instead of him. The blatant...
He means toxic? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what he meant to say, yeah.
Manipulation, opportunism, and perpetual victim complex...
I couldn't tell if there was an H attached to the beginning there or not.
...is par for the course when dealing...
The accent is throwing me off.
...with disgusting Zionist frauds like him. Anyway...
Why bring that? Wait, why? Okay. Seems like it kind of came out of left field, but all right.
With this context covered, let's pivot to the aftermath of my 2 videos, which came pretty rapid fire last summer. As I said, Avi is quite aware of them, given their view counts, and how they undeniably shifted the way the public perceives him. Thousands of people learned what a disgusting fraud he is through my content, which, as you can imagine, brings me great joy. Want to hear what Avi has to say about me?
You know, the other thing that I find from the other side of the spectrum of people, you know, there are people on both extremes that are completely unreasonable, and I get attacked by both of them. So another one claims that my analysis is a fraud. And the guy who claims that defines himself as a professor. He is calling himself on his YouTube channel, Professor Dave. Now this guy...
Yeah. And so, back to the point of people trolling people based on the advice or instruction they get from content creators. I think Dave's been guilty of a little bit of that as well. Not most of the time, but maybe some of the time. So that could be one criticism of Dave. That maybe he's getting a taste of his own medicine there. But yeah, I mean, so I question whether is he responding to the content itself or other people reacting to the content, right? All right, we'll shift out of here and go back to where we started from, which was, I'm in the wrong place, over here. Oh wait, I fucked up. Okay, I can do it later, it's fine. No big deal. Hey, you want to see something funny?
How many megs of RAM do you have in your computer? Hey, why don't you check out my website at www. I was looking at the Star Trek website and let me fax you my email address.
Again, this shit comes recommended to me. I do not search this. Alright, back to the original Destiny Loves Genocide. Picking up where we left off. We are just watching the friggin' satellite imagery of the decimation of Gaza.
Presta atenção nessa cidade, ó. Uma cidade normal, né? Tá cheia de pessoas, avenida cheia de construção. Eu vou mostrar para vocês como é que isso daqui é uma foto de satélite de 2023. Agora, olha como é que ela tá.
Oh, what's up, cat? Welcome, good to see you. More like, boo. Oh, okay, thank you. No, not this one. That's the other channel.
Agora. Cadê a cidade? Cadê? Cadê os prédios? Cadê as pessoas? Vou tirar o zoom para você ver o tamanho dessa área destruída. Olha o tamanho dessa área destruída. Olha isso aqui. Isso aí é a cidade de Rafah, no sul da faixa de Gaza. Fica na fronteira com o Egito. Essa área destruída, só nessa área destruída ao sul, toda essa área cinza, toda essa área que eu der um zoom aqui, eu vou ver uma área destruída. Essa área aqui é maior do que a área que foi destruída pela bomba de Hiroshima, a bomba atômica de Hiroshima. Qualquer lugar que eu aponte...
Larger than the area destroyed by Hiroshima. That's fucking crazy.
Aqui eu vou ver casas destruídas, destruição, uma das coisas mais horrendas da história humana. E isso aqui vai assombrar a humanidade por muito tempo. E o holocausto da Segunda Guerra se repetiu, infelizmente, e ninguém conseguiu impedir. E até agora os responsáveis por esse crime contra a humanidade estão rindo à toa. Fica aqui esse registro, porque é uma coisa assustadora. E como o olho que tudo sabe, tudo vê, não apaga a imagem, essa é a imagem real. Contra fatos não há argumentos. O que aconteceu aqui foi um genocídio.
It doesn't get any clearer than this. Gaza
While
is...
I'm here, does anybody know how to... Oh, no, that's the fucking wrong button. Does anybody know how to unblock people? I don't even know how to fucking unblock people on YouTube. I didn't mean to block them in the first place. I just wanted them out of the side chat at that moment. But anyway. Yeah, no, that's the policy. That's not going to help me. Shit. Alright, never mind. Sorry.
Is now an uninhabitable wasteland. Absolutely nobody can keep a straight face and say that this level of destruction had anything to do with targeting terrorists while keeping civilians safe. We can know this with even greater certainty by looking at what they're doing in Lebanon.
Jeez, that's fucking crazy. That is insane. found out William Freeman is speaking to us from beyond the grave. Congratulations on your resurrection, I suppose. Wait, did you die and come back?
Village after village, town after town, not individual buildings, the entire town. This has nothing to do with terrorism. This has nothing to do with Hezbollah, whose label of terrorist organization is laughable to begin with. Hezbollah and any other group that is labeled terrorists by Israel are simply people desperately defending themselves against Israeli terror.
Google account security. Okay, so it's through my Google account. Thank you. Thank you much to Freak. Much love.
Terrorism. Hezbollah formed as a direct response to the Sabra and Shatila massacres, for example. Israel is the aggressor state, slaughtering anyone they please, and anyone who stands in opposition to that is labeled a terrorist. These groups are the rebellion in Star Wars. Israel is the fucking empire. Do you think Emperor Palpatine would label Luke Skywalker a terrorist? Of course he would. Supporting Israel is like rooting for the fucking Death Star. But again, this level of destruction has nothing to do with Hezbollah or any other supposed terrorist group. This is demolition. This is an erasure of a people, their lives, their culture, to make room for Israeli expansion. A huge chunk of Lebanon is Israel now. They will build, settlers will come, and that's the end of it. Then they'll steal more land tomorrow, and the cycle continues. They'll tell you themselves if you ask them. Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich sure did.
בוא נדבר על היום שאחרי המלחמה בהיבט הנדל"ני.
It says I have no users currently blocked, but I believe I banned them in side chat, so would that block them from the channel? That's what they said. But on my Google account it says I have no users currently blocked, so I'm highly confused now.
אתה כבר התבטאת לא פעם לגבי חידוש ההתיישבות היהודית ברצועת עזה. שאלה פשוטה, איפה מבחינתך צריך לקום היישוב הראשון ברצועה?
אני מודה שלזה לא ציפיתי, אני מוכן להתחיל מהתוחמת הצפונית, אבל סתם, תדעו לכם, זה לא מצחיק, יש תוכנית עסקית, תקשיבו לי טוב, יש תוכנית עסקית שנבנתה על ידי אנשים הכי מקצועיים שיש, שנמצאת על השולחן של הנשיא טראמפ, לאיך הדבר הזה הופך לבוננזה של נדל"ן, אני לא צוחק, מחזיר את עצמו. אגב, אני התחלתי משא ומתן עם האמריקאים, אני אומר את זה לא בצחוק עכשיו, כי אני גם דורש, הרי אנחנו שילמנו המון כסף על המלחמה הזאת, אז אנחנו צריכים להתחלק, איך אנחנו עושים אחוזים על שיווקי הקרקע אחר כך בעזה, אבל עכשיו לא בצחוק. את שלב ההריסה, את שלב ה...
Shit, I just found my old fucking Steam account that I've never been able to log into forever on here. It's linked to this fucking channel. But I could never. Yeah, it says I have no blocked users. Is there a separate setting for unbanning people from side chat?
הריסה, שהוא תמיד השלב הראשון בהתחדשות העירונית עשינו, עכשיו צריך לבנות, זה הרבה יותר זול.
It's not funny. There's a business plan. Thanks to Trump, the real estate mogul, cosplaying as the president of the most powerful nation on earth, it's gonna be a bonanza. When you decide that you want to steal some land, first, you demolish everything. That's always the first phase. If people are already living there, kill them by the hundreds of thousands if you want. What's the difference? They're not chosen people like us. Murder them, displace them, whatever you have to do. Destroy absolutely everything in the region until not a single building is left standing. Then go in, clear the rubble, and build luxury condos or whatever the fuck you want. Easy peasy.
I guess that person...
Do you understand now what has been happening since October 7th? Do you understand that it...
If you're able to view my video, I mean, so, I would think, I mean, you could just go incognito and you would still be able to, oh no, you might have to create a new account, huh? Okay, I'll worry about that later.
Was never about terrorists or protecting Israel or getting back hostages or anything of the sort. Not for a single second was it ever about any
I first went to YouTube Studio and then I checked my Google account, and in both it says I have no blocked people, so I have no idea what the fuck happened there, but yeah, we'll just move on.
Those things. Israeli officials didn't give two shits.
Thank you for your help. I appreciate it. I'll just have to figure it out later or something. Holy shit. I've gotten over 1,000 views in the last 28 days. That's crazy. Crazy.
It's about hostages. They were an excuse to keep...
Thank you. Thank you to everybody.
bombing. There were deals on the table early on that involved a ceasefire in exchange for all of the hostages being returned, and they refused. In October of last year, they got all of the hostages back that they didn't kill with their carpet bombing. That still didn't stop them. And I wish I had saved my tweets from early in the genocide, but I didn't, so you'll just have to take my word for it. But I was saying all of this. From day...
Jeez. It's too much. It's too much. Can we process it? Let's take a breath. Recenter. We're grounded. We'll continue.
Day one, I knew that this was premeditated ethnic cleansing and land acquisition, belligerent imperialism in the 21st century. Everything I was saying came true. That Gaza would become Israel, that they would do it to Lebanon too, and I was silenced for it. Anyone who didn't have their head up their ass could smell it, but if you couldn't see what was happening then, do you see it now? Smotrich says they paid for this war. They paid money to fabricate pretense for a military operation with the singular goal of clearing out Gaza to keep it, with Lebanon and Syria to follow shortly after.
It
Now
certainly looks like that's what they're doing. This is, I mean, obviously just on, based on what we saw in the previous video and here and all of this, like it is very obvious that they are doing conquest. This is a classic maneuver. Take the land bit by bit until you get the whole mass, right? They're conquesting over time to expand the Jewish state, right?
They're most of the way there with Gaza, on American military bases being built within the territory, and plans are underway to round up remaining Gazans.
Yeah, the freak says all prophesied, indeed.
And put them into concentration camps while they clear out the rubble
Is
and
it prophesied or prophesied? I don't know. Maybe both.
Start to build new Gaza. You heard that correctly. Zionist Jews are going...
That's a big hoss did nothing wrong. And if freak said Syria probably next. Yeah, why not? Why not? Do not bring my beloved Bonanza into my people, trying to get Nakam from the wrong people.
to put people in concentration camps. And you heard the other thing correctly, too.
Oh, yeah, speaking of concentration camps, have you heard about what they're doing, what ICE is doing here in the U.S.?
Gaza is already being sold to the American public. Jared Kushner, Ivanka...
Cat says mods should be able to see people banned from the side chat unless they changed that in the past couple of months. Well, this person was a mod. And I just banned them from side chat, kind of in the moment, and I was like, maybe I can undo this later or something, but now I'm not clear on whether they said they cannot see my channel at all, so I don't know.
Trump's husband and haunted marionette unveiled the plans for New Gaza, which will be luxury resorts as far as the eye can see, with some land carved out for Trump as a thank you for greenlighting all of this. And guess what? If you were one of those folks thinking that Israel's actions are way over the top, but what are you going to do because October 7th? Well, I'm going to take that away from you as well. Israel almost certainly knew what was going to happen, and they did nothing to stop it.
Kind of like the United States at 9/11, right? Unless you believe that was a conspiracy cover-up as well, right? But it seems like they just let it happen from what I could see.
Music festival taking place just 3 miles from the Gaza barrier was moved there from its original location at the last minute. Military response to initial activity was delayed for hours in a way that is difficult to justify.
Is this a tactic now? Like let them perform a major attack that we could have defended against, and then use that as an excuse for a never-ending fucking war?
Israeli soldiers were even ordered to cancel all patrols along the Gazan border on the morning of October 7th, with no justification given.
Freak said, so if this is all prophesied in the Bible, this is God telling you that he's real, or it's just people trying to fulfill the prophecies from the Bible. It has nothing to do with God. So either could be true, and we'd have no way of discerning which was which, right? But what is more likely? And Kat says, I mean, still no third temple. These Israeli government fellows are bad at the prophecy thing. I get the position of older Zionists. Alright, a portion of that is cut off by the stupid heart emoji. As misguided as it was, but now it's just
באוקטובר, אתה במוצב.
אצלנו ה7 באוקטובר מתחיל לפני 6:30. אני הייתי לוחם במחלקת מרגמות בגדוד 13, גולני, ובאותו לילה...
He's testifying in a, like, this is an official testimony, right? But before the, whatever system they have in place there, I don't know.
אני, יותם סור, הסמל שלי איתמר בן יהודה, זיכרונו לברכה, שלושתנו עושים לילה לבן. הרשינו לעצמנו בשבתות וחגים במיוחד, לעשות לילה לבן עד לכוננות עם שחר, ואתם יודעים, יש לנו זמן לישון, מחלקת מרגמות, עד לכוננות הבאה. אז ב-5:20...
So they're acting like they are in position to defend, but then they're told to stand down?
בבוקר. אנחנו יושבים ליד הקשר כדי לא להעיר מאזין, והסמג"ד שלי, ניר ברוינפלג, שגם הוא נפצע קשה, וברוך השם.
Oh, no, he's saying the attack was ongoing before they actually infiltrated the event.
הוא שרד. פתאום עולה בקשר בהודעה מוזרה. כל התחנות, לא יודע למה, לא יודע איך, משהו בסגנון הזה, אין סיור בגדר עד 9 בבוקר.
באיזה שעה זה?
So he said, do not do the patrol until 9 a.m. So give them a 4-hour window.
5:20 בבוקר.
כל תחנות נשארים כאן משנה, אז מבחינת קרקע ואויב אין לנו דברים משמעותיים. מבחינת כוחותינו יצאה הנחיה מהחטיבה שעד השעה 9 בבוקר מול הערכת המצב אף כלי לא מגיע לבורמה. אני חוזר שוב, עד 9 בבוקר ואל מול הערכת המצב אף כלי לא יורד לבורמה. נמצאים בנקודות זינוק אחוריות, מהנחיית חטיבה, לא יודע בדיוק למה, לא שואל יותר מדי, זאת ההנחיה, זה מה שאנחנו עושים.
קצת לפני
So there's your recorded audio evidence.
שהכל מתחיל. ואיתמר דופק לנו פרצוף כזה של... מה? ואתה יודע, אנחנו חיילים פשוטים סך הכל, לוחמים, לא מפקדים ולא קצינים שנוכל לשאול שאלות, זו הוראה של הסמג"ד. מקבלים את הפקודה הזאת ולא שואלים שאלות.
Is it weird if you're patrolling the border of your own nation to call yourself a combatant? You should be a defender, not a combatant, right?
הורדת פקודה רגילה. ובאמת, אחרי שעה...
Maybe it's a mistranslation or a loose translation, but I just think that's weird.
6:30, פתאום אזעקות. תראי, אני אגיד לך...
The third temple involved is deal with Jordan. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's next, right? That's their other neighbor.
האמת, אני חייתי עם זה מה7 באוקטובר ומאוד חששתי לדבר על זה, ושהגעתי לכנסת זה היה אחרי תקופה ששאלתי כמה שצבא בכירים, מה בעצם קרה שם.
This is the same guy. So is this the... Okay. Is he like a lone person making this claim though, or have others made this claim as well?
והיו כאלה שבהתחלה אמרו לי, תשמע, היה יום צליפה של נ"טים על הגדר, לכן לא רצינו לשלוח חיילים, כדי שלא ייפגעו. ואז עם הזמן קצת נפל לי האסימון, ואמרתי, רגע, אם יש יום צליפה, איך יכול להיות שאני סך הכל 200 מטר מהגדר, לא יודע שיש יום, איך יכול להיות שחברים שלי נלחמים בלי וסט, עם תחתונים וגרביים, ואף אחד לא יודע שיש משהו, אנחנו סך הכל 200-300 מטר מהגדר. ואז זה עוד הפעם ישב לי בראש, ובאמת הזמינו אותי פתאום לכנסת. הרגשתי שזו ההזדמנות באמת לפתוח את הנושא הזה ולדבר עליו ולהבין בעצם מה קרה שם. והנה, את אומרת, כמו שאת אומרת, הרבה אנשים זה נשמע להם תמוה, ומה בעצם קרה שם. ואנחנו עוד פעם חוזרים לזה, ואני אגיד לך את האמת, איילה, אני חי עם איזשהו חור במוח מאז 7 באוקטובר, שמשהו בלב מרגיש לי אני לא יודע מה היה שם, אני רוצה להבין.
A little coincidental, no. Beyond this, hundreds of the civilian casualties were the fault of Israel, due to both friendly fire from incompetent teenage pseudo-soldiers, as well as the Hannibal Directive, which involves killing their own citizens on purpose to prevent their captivity, including a tank firing on a kibbutz. This is how much Israeli officials value the lives of their citizens. When you remove military and police casualties...
Hold on, they killed their own people on purpose if they were in danger of being taken captive? Dude, that's wild. That's fucking wild right there.
Which are absolutely fair game, as well as friendly fire and Hannibal...
The cat said, looks like still typing. Oh, this is a continuation on comment I read a few minutes ago, or a minute ago. Yep. Okay, let's read this in its entirety. Still no third temple. These Israeli government fellows are bad at the prophecy thing. I get the position of older Zionists, as misguided as it was, but now it's just the end of this. Less than 100 years ago, we were singing about killing fascists and dying by the hands of soldiers, keeping us out of our own lands. It's a genuine shame that Zionists have lost what the proud to support Jews fought hard for, but revenge should not have been forced upon a shelf to be brought out against someone else. Fair enough. So, there you have it.
Directive deaths, you're left with a number of civilian casualties that are exceeded by Palestinian deaths on any decent day for Israel since October 7th, and countless days before as well. Gaza was the most heavily monitored population on the planet. Israel knew that this was their opportunity to get 9/11 levels of support for murdering Arabs, and they took it. Plain and simple.
There you go. Draw the parallels, right? Because that's exactly what we did.
Simple. Now, if you thought that Israel was only a menace to its Middle Eastern neighbors, think again. Israel is a threat to the United States and every single American, too. Let's go over the countless ways that Israel...
And that's not some Alex Jones shit. See, it's easily conflated with conspiracy theory, but we know there are fucking substantiated documents that say that there was a credible threat prior to 9/11, and they legitimately ignored it, and so yeah, I just don't see how anybody, yeah. So I'm not into all that. Oh yeah, it was staged. It was a hoax. You know, it was like all that bullshit, right? But that they allowed it to happen, not so much a conspiracy theory.
Specifically ruining the U.S. Let's start with some recent news. Israel is trying to force the United States to formally merge the American and...
Does it cut out a comment in there for some reason? Unalive 6 million guys with the not great opinions. You know who I mean. Instead of redacting our brothers and sisters next door. And DeFreeze says also prophesied. Okay.
Israeli militaries. Did you hear what I just said? Israeli officials are trying to force America to merge its military...
Again, though, if people have like read the book and have prior knowledge of the prophecy, and they have some kind of like, the fuck? And they have some kind of reason, basically that they're trying to make that prophecy become fulfilled, right? Then we can still say that that it's the work of modern actors, and not the actual fulfillment. If it was happening without people knowing about this and spreading and disseminating this information everywhere prior to, then we could say, oh yeah, that's crazy, that's random happenstance, right? But we can say that people consciously, knowingly sought out to fulfill those prophecies for their own ends, right? Whatever their motivations are.
Military with the military of a foreign country, the one committing genocide. Moving from aid to partnership is how Bibi tried to sell it on Fox News, and even the Fox News anchor said,
"It certainly brings up some issues of sovereignty, but we'll have to work that out later."
While you're sitting there thinking about how incredibly fucked up this is, let me explain how it's way more fucked up than that. First, you know all those billions of tax dollars that we send to Israel every year, the ones that are used to murder children? Now that money will not require congressional approval. It's just part of the federal budget that the executive branch can arbitrarily provide at any time and in any amount. Next, the government...
Oh great, now the Mormons are calling me from disguised numbers. That's amazing.
...is trying to bring back the military draft. If that were to happen, soldiers would be forced to fight for Israel. That would mean that young Americans could be...
Boop, boop. What are these comments? Yeah, they call that self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh yeah, Cat edited it so YouTube would graciously allow me to decry an unjust war and offer a reasonable alternative. As much as we may want Nakam, we must conquer hate instead. Well said. DeFreak says, can't say that because it's just vague enough, you know, because they use that to deny Jesus Christ. Well, that's a whole other can of worms there, but
drafted against their will and forced to go murder Arabs for Israel, while also potentially just getting murdered by Israel
feral monkeys, if you will.
themselves via the Hannibal Directive. And finally, this move would make the Pentagon totally dependent on Israel. Israeli AI systems would be integrated into all the highest classification functions of the U.S. military. So no American intelligence could be withheld from Israel, including that on its own citizens, and any attempt to defy Israel's wishes
Help, I'm being oppressed.
by any future president
I'm being repressed. I always get those mixed up.
could be regarded as a military coup. I need you to really wrap your head around the treachery here. Israel is another country, a totally separate country from this one. If it were
Yeah, I know they're the well, Bill Maher called them the lost Jews. Technically, they weren't lost, right? They were just the one that sailed across the pond first, I suppose, and then cohabitated with the Native Americans until the other white people got here and started slaughtering everybody. But they were here first, obviously, right? Plenty of historical evidence for that. Not.
suggested that the American military merge with that of Switzerland.
Leif Erikson is rolling in his funeral pyre.
That already would be fucking insane. Now replace Switzerland's army with a literal terrorist organization that rapes and tortures and murders civilians every single day to expand the borders of a colonial ethno-state that violates international law. This is not a dystopian novel. This is real life, and it is happening. Zionists in Congress are trying to sneak this bill through as part of a defense spending bill. This is happening because public opinion is so firmly anti-Israel that Israel has to find ways to thwart the public and entrench itself in the American power dynamic in ways that will be nearly impossible to undo, no matter how much we protest and boycott. This is a hostile takeover of the American government by a foreign entity. This is Netanyahu trying to place himself formally in charge of aspects of the American government. Every politician supporting this motion is guilty of treason, and nobody's doing anything about it. What's next? Well, it is common knowledge that Gaza is a testing ground for experimental weapons. New weapons are routinely tested on Palestinian guinea pigs. Who will they be used on next? Whoever Israel wants, including American citizens. The techno-fascism that is taking over the American government is nearly indistinguishable from the Zionist lobby.
Okay, I did unmute. Okay, we're gonna see how far this goes now. Should I put it on speakerphone? Jeez, no, I'm not ready for that yet. We're going to stick to the topic.
A look at Palantir, co-founded by Peter Thiel and Alex Karp. Viewers of my channel need no introduction to Thiel. He's a disgusting gremlin who directly finances an overwhelming percentage of the anti-science propaganda I debunk, whether coming from puppets like Eric Weinstein or Christian theocrats promoting intelligent design. CEO Karp proudly describes himself as the most publicly supportive CEO of Israel and never shuts up about how awesome Israel is. Thiel is right there with him. Palantir has a strategic partnership.
I do see it as like another type of virtue signaling, right? And it's interesting because this is kind of where left and right clash is on like an issue like this. Like you're not virtue signaling for like trans rights, LGBTQIA or something like that, right? Like Israel is one of the weirdest divisions between like conservative Christians and far leftist, I guess, if you will, and I think most people in the center probably don't know what the fuck to think, or shifting back and forth. Like Trav seems to be doing that a bit, shifting back and forth. He's saying, well, you could still be pro-Israel and support the genocide of the Palestinians. You could hold both positions at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that, which I think is a strange position to be in, but yeah.
With the Israeli Defense Ministry providing AI models for the IOF. Basically, Palantir is a key component of Israel's ability to commit genocide. Guess what else Palantir is up to? Huge contracts with the Department of Homeland Security.
Cat, so I would be overjoyed to argue with some Mormons with you, or hell, I'll host at some point. Yeah, we're not there. They don't, I don't think they know what I do. But you never know. I guess they have their own surveillance system, so But yeah, these are the old timers now they're coming at me. I think the missionaries gave up, or maybe they were told to stand down. I don't know.
To give ICE the exact same tech that Israel uses in order to perform its own human rights violations, while also lending its tech to federal agencies who use data mining software.
It says pro-Israel is an anti-Jew position. To change my mind. Fair enough.
Where to aggregate information from every single American. Palantir is a major entity pushing us towards an Orwellian police state here in America. More on that in a moment. Let's see, who else? Elon Musk. He has a direct relationship with Bibi. Agreements with Israel regarding Starlink. AI collaborations. Plans for an Israel-exclusive autonomous Tesla rollout. Mark Zuckerberg, along with Musk.
Might also explain the... It's weird, though, because Musk did do the fucking Heil Hitler salute, right? He was like, my heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to you. But who the fuck does that? Never in my life. Like, accidentally done the Heil Hitler salute.
Both routinely censor pro-Palestine content on Facebook, Instagram.
I did say accidentally.
And Twitter.
No, I've never done it at all. But if I were to do it, I wouldn't feign fucking ignorance or like it was a fucking slip of my autism.
Posts, stories, and entire accounts are regularly deleted, most notably anything depicting Israeli human rights violations. If content is not outright deleted, viewability is altered such that it is...
Yeah, agree, Kat. Pro-Israel is an anti-humanist position, but I'm appealing to the religious and right-leaning folks. Yeah, because they're never going to understand that. They fucking hate humans. That's why they're against humanism.
Seen only by followers and does not show up in general feeds. This is in direct response to requests from Israel's cyber unit.
In 2025, an investigation published by DropSite found that Meta complied with 94% of takedown requests issued by Israel since October 7. That same year, The Intercept reported that YouTube removed 700 videos published by official Palestinian human rights organizations.
And we heard, frankly, from high-level officials at Facebook who said, my job is to...
You say high-ranking officials at Facebook? Yeah, because those people could totally be trusted. That's... Okay.
Defend Israel. You know, so like, this isn't some sort of wild conspiracy. This is a thing that, you know, is happening in broad daylight, and there's nothing we can...
The high-ranking officials of Facebook are trying to get me to have a porn relapse right now, so... I mean, you know, we'll give that to them.
Do about it because of these consolidation of these monopolistic companies that manage the entire global internet space.
Why would tech oligarchs who fancy themselves above the law comply with requests from a foreign government? Ponder that.
Thank you for handling that, Kat. Yeah, I trust your judgment there.
Then, of course, there is...
You two want to come on the channel and debate it? We could do that. I could moderate. I could learn a little bit, maybe.
Zionist billionaire Larry Ellison, who purchased TikTok in January of this year. This was the platform where young people were most consistently learning about Israel's war crimes, so the Zionist lobby decided to put a stop to that. Ellison has long-standing personal and political ties with Israeli leaders, and he has personally donated tens of millions of dollars to the IOF, as well as investing in AI data centers in Israel. I don't even need to tell you that once Ellison acquired TikTok, pro-Palestine content was censored almost completely, and prominent Palestinian journalists.
TikTok was a Chinese hoax. Who the fuck? What? I don't know anything about TikTok actually. Yeah, I don't have it. I had it. Well, I guess I have one. Like I had one for a limited time, but I was really just using it to spy on my children.
Journalists were abruptly banned in a last-ditch effort to maintain a sliver of support among the younger demographics. But don't worry, social media manipulation is just the tip of the iceberg. Israeli tech firm...
I'm talking about my actual biological children that are mine. That might have sounded weird if you didn't know the context.
Cognite is installing its system FalcoNet in American police SUVs. This is tech that pretends to be a cell phone tower, such that...
FalcoNet? Who the fuck thinks this shit up? This is another fucking Elon Musk production? What the fuck is FalcoNet?
Every phone in the vicinity connects automatically, and all its data is...
Funny, because I was with one of the kids, one of the stepkids, ex-stepkids. It's hard to fucking process that shit. Anyway, we were walking down the street the other night. started talking mad shit about a Cybertruck, and I was like, yes, he gets it. He's not even 10 years old, and he knows Cybertrucks are fucking stupid. And so we got to have some good back and forth. Some of these kids are being brought up right.
Compromised. Texas, New York, Florida, and New Mexico are all currently using this tech. A foreign company has built invasive surveillance technology that tracks American citizens in American streets. A foreign company has unlimited access not only to private data of American citizens, but also the details of how American law enforcement surveils its population. And the contracts are redacted. Nobody can see what data is being collected, why it's being collected, how long it's kept, or who has access. Mass warrantless cellular tracking without consent and with zero transparency. This would be unconstitutional even if being done by the US government, but for Israel to be doing it here is fucking insane. What could this lead to? Well, to see what could happen to Americans tomorrow, we only need to look at what Israel is doing to Palestinians today. Check out this newest insanity. Unmanned cranes with machine guns are being used to murder Gazans. UNICEF reported a 12-year-old girl shot in the chest while in a tent. Another 5-year-old girl killed in her home. These cranes fire randomly and continuously at tents and exposed neighborhoods. Where will we see these next? Major intersections in American cities to protect all the patriots from dangerous Antifa? Preparation for the crackdown on American citizens has already begun.
His police car is a Cybertruck in this illustration. I love it.
Anyone who criticizes Israel is being monitored by the FBI. A new legislation known as the National Security Bill grants the government broad powers to prosecute almost anyone under terrorism charges simply for doing routine journalism or peacefully protesting. Countless supporters of Palestine have been arrested under such pretenses already. Same with protesting ICE. 8 anti-ICE protesters were recently each sentenced to 30 to 100 years in prison. One of them wasn't even at the fucking protest. He just moved a box of pamphlets. And yet they will spend their lives in jail. Why? To establish precedent for labeling the activity of individual protesters as part of large terrorism networks.
Yep. And influencing. Social media influencers will be considered propagandists, but actual political propagandists within the system will be further empowered, right? Classic.
This is the
classic fucking fascism in action.
Print for the legal framework being built around criminalizing protests, expanding terrorism rhetoric, and cracking down on any dissent from the twisted goals of those in power. This is how you transform political opposition into a security threat, peaceful protest into terrorism. Want to jail subversive individuals with zero basis? Just shout Antifa and your wish will be granted. This is an arbitrary category that can be expanded at will to encompass any political affiliation deemed unsavory to those in power. Doesn't matter what you did or didn't do. You're part of terrorist Antifa because they say so, and you go to jail for life. This is how you make people afraid to organize and resist
Antifa, they're so horrible, they throw water bottles and firecrackers at law enforcement.
Authoritarian rule. On January 6th, people smashed windows at the Capitol. They assaulted police officers. They literally hunted down lawmakers. They erected actual gallows and called for the public
shit on Nancy Pelosi's desk.
Execution of Mike Pence, who was in charge of the count. It was a coup that attempted to interfere with an election and install a dictator. What do they get? Jail time for being domestic terrorists? No. Trump pardoned them all and then tried to award them billions of dollars of taxpayer money for damages. What serves the state is good and heroic, no matter how obviously terroristic in nature, and whatever defies the state is terrorism, even if it's just holding a fucking sign or preventing ICE domestic terrorists from murdering civilians. This is already codified. The National Security Presidential Memorandum 7, or NSPM 7, officially directs federal agencies to aggressively investigate and disrupt groups and individuals that they decide are linked to political violence, which just means a legal way to target nonprofit organizations and absolutely any activist they please. Watch lists of suggested subversives already exist. What are the targets? Anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, extremism on migration, race, and gender, opposition to traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. All of these labels are in there. I'm not making up a fucking word of this. It's a goddamn fever dream. What is this? This is the complete dismantling of free speech. The Constitution guarantees that you can't be imprisoned for things you say, for views you hold, or for protesting things. This administration is taking a big dump on freedom in the Constitution, and they're doing it for Israel just as much as the rest of the oligarchy it can barely be distinguished from. Other countries are doing the same thing. A new law in Britain gives sweeping powers to executive leadership to determine terroristic threats and imprison protesters, criminalize journalism and activism, using broad provisions to put people in jail for a decade or more. Germany is on board as well, approving a bill that makes criticism of Israel a criminal offense punishable by 5 years in prison. Supporting a cause or quoting a source that is arbitrarily deemed a terrorist threat will be a crime, and countless people will begin going to jail for defending basic human rights. What is the justification for such draconian measures? Always, without fail, anti-Semitism. The boogeyman, the hyperinflated threat that justifies ruining countless lives, an embodiment of the toxicity it pretends to fight. Oh, and what will be the last resort if the American public simply will not accept foreign rule? Just ask Israeli defense researcher Benny Sapti. He recently tweeted this: maybe USA needs another Pearl Harbor or 9/11 to remember who is the enemy and who is the friend. Sounds like a threat, doesn't it? Yes, Israel can and would commit a terrorist attack on American soil, blame it on Arabs, and gaslight the world into supporting a renewed wave of violence on whomever they please, with full American economic and military support. Sounds too far-fetched? Think again. Israel has a history of this behavior. In 1967, Israeli aircraft and torpedo boats attacked the USS Liberty in nearby waters and killed 34 Americans. They thought it was an Egyptian warship, of course, since those usually fly American flags. This was an attempt at precisely this type of false flag operation. Sink an American ship, blame it on Egypt, and lure America into war on their behalf. Benny knew he fucked up by saying the quiet part out loud, so he edited the tweet to seem less obvious, but it was too late. The internet never forgets. Anyone who thinks that Israel would only massacre Arabs and never white people clearly isn't paying attention. Look at what they did very recently to the European aid flotillas. Hundreds of European activists were detained, beaten, tortured, and raped. Israel did it proudly and brazenly with full knowledge that there would be no consequences for them. And if serious consequences ever did befall Israel, they can always resort to the Samson option. This is Israel's military strategy of massive...
You motherfuckers didn't tell me I was muted. I'm very disappointed. I am highly disappointed. How long was I muted? Damn it. It's your fault. I blame the chat.
nuclear retaliation as a last resort if the country is facing imminent destruction and existential collapse. Basically, if Israeli officials think everything has gone irreparably south for them and they are about to be destroyed by literally anyone, they will just nuke everybody.
I was, when I came back in, I like made several comments like in the last minute or so, and when I came back in I was muted. So at some point you didn't hear what I was saying. Or maybe you did. I don't fucking know. Much love.
Israel refuses to confirm or deny having nukes, and they refuse to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which means they aren't obligated to be inspected for nukes, which means they absolutely have nukes. Meanwhile, over here in America, every effort is being enacted to ensure that nothing can slow Israel down in its quest to destroy everything. Anything deemed a threat to unchecked belligerence and imperialism must be eliminated. The international criminal...
Oh, yeah, I've heard lizards are cold-blooded. That's a truism, right? And snakes, too. Serpents, if you will. Serpents with wings and legs and... yeah. Some of them just slither on their bellies.
Criminal court regularly calls out the war crimes of both Israel and the United States. So Trump and Bibi, along with thirsty Marco Rubio, are trying to dismantle the ICC entirely. The ICC makes light of American war crimes in Afghanistan, the Caribbean, Venezuela, and of course literally everything Israel does, so they are deemed a radical threat to democracy. Here's Marco whining about American sovereignty just because someone dares push back on Western barbarism and...
But it paralyzes whose empire?
Crimes against humanity. Basic accountability is tyranny to the gaslighters who don't want to stop bombing and murdering and seizing land. Marco and Bibi do look cute together, though, don't they? And of course, any country reliant on U.S. assistance.
We have Bible in chat. Bible in chat. We've missed Bible in chat. Isaiah 14:31. Howl, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina art dissolved. For there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed times. Okay. Where there's smoke, there's fire? I don't... What is this supposed to actually indicate to me?
That does not go along with the campaign to destroy the ICC will feel the blowback. This is just a continuation of the trend of this administration, dismantling absolutely any institution which...
Did I read that correctly? Okay. Everybody deserves our way of life. Are you Israeli? I have no idea. Like, if so, that's news to me.
Serves the global citizen.
I feel free to tell or not.
At the behest of a twisted oligarchy. Want to pollute more? Destroy the EPA. Want to poison more? Destroy the FDA. Want to do more war crimes? Destroy the ICC. It's a trend, and it's one I've been highlighting in my content for a while now. None of this is normal. This is not...
Or is that pro-America? Should be like, everybody should be American. It's a reference to a different war, though. Okay, fair enough.
Business as usual. This current administration is the beginning of the fascist takeover. It is happening now. They are trying to eradicate democracy. Whoever doesn't see that is blind. Anyone crying about
help me, I'm so lost.
TDS can fuck themselves. This is the moment where we either fight all of this while we still have an outside chance.
I myself have BDS, but not TDS, personally, yeah.
Or we submit to tyranny and accept fascist authoritarian rule. There is not an ounce of hyperbole in anything I've said. The infrastructure for the authoritarian police state is being built and implemented right now. Today. People can sense the changes being implemented by Project 2025 personnel. Public opinion regarding Israel has shifted irreparably even among conservatives. The oligarchy knows it.
Mediterranean mutt American? Okay, fair enough. I think I qualify under that too, but that's yeah. I mean, I'm fucking Sicilian, so you know. We're all over the fucking place there.
And they are doing everything they can to secure authoritarian control before this term is over and they lose their chance to clamp down. These monsters will not stop until they get the techno-theocratic dystopia they're
Who's that guy?
for. Orwellian surveillance with flock cameras on every corner to track every citizen and everything they do. ICE thugs terrorizing every neighborhood. Digital IDs required to access any website. The prison is being built around Americans as we speak. And the campaign is beginning to ruin the life of anyone who tries to organize against it. With these acts that can arbitrarily label any subversive
What the fuck?
activity as terrorism, they will destroy livelihoods. They will send ICE agents or drones to murder people in broad daylight. Sympathy for the victims of Israeli terrorism are now terrorists, according to the state. Israel has their hands in absolutely all of this. All of it. There is not a single nook or cranny of any of this shit that doesn't involve Israel. Israel is pure poison, and Zionism is the ideology behind it. An ideology of Jewish supremacy, ethnic cleansing, genocide, deception, and self-victimization. Okay, are we all up to speed on how Israel is an existential threat to all of humanity and the most vile source of pure evil since the Nazis, and how they are objectively committing genocide like 100% without a doubt, and anyone who says otherwise is either paid by Israel or a brainwashed idiot? Awesome. Now let's get back to Destiny and talk about his rose-colored relationship with this belligerent imperialistic ethno-state.
Okay, and at this point we're gonna take a short break. I'm gonna pat myself on the back, because if nobody has noticed these last couple of streams and in my life, it's been about 1.5 hours since I've had a nicotine break. I go on average about 3.5 to 4 hours a day without nicotine at work, and so that's been an ongoing project of mine. And now I'm off work and I'm streaming and I'm not taking cigarette breaks. So congratulations to me. You're doing very well, Ape. Keep on keeping on, right? So it's a project of mine. For the 2 hours we were here together, I break for snacks and maybe to go urinate briefly. But I do not break for nicotine. Nicotine will wait. And maybe eventually it will be eradicated from my processing here. Okay. And anybody who's known me for any length of time, that's significant. Because I've been smoking for more than half of my life. Alright, we're going to go back to the Destiny review to finish off tonight. So, thanks for hanging in there and sticking with me. Much love to everybody. Everybody in chat. We got Kat, DeFreak, Pixie.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it.
Goddamn fucking Zionist shills. Oh wait, I'm just supposed to say that for posterity, I think.
Called liberal Zionists, which is an oxymoron, are in denial of this reality. Their everyday lives consist of endless mental gymnastics to avoid witnessing the carnage. Their social media feeds are filled with propaganda peddlers, convincing them that none of it is real. Genocide isn't real. If you don't go and look at it yourself, then you can pretend it doesn't exist. Well, I'm going to show you to the best of my extremely limited ability what is happening. This video almost certainly will not be monetized. I'm fully aware of that and I don't care. But I can't show you the true extent of the carnage, as that would violate YouTube's community guidelines, and my channel could get deactivated from a single violation of a place in this boring out of their app. Haunts me every time I look. The countless bodies dirt bulldozed on top of them, often still of this genocide. And then they get their last glimpse of daylight.
Evidence of torture with nearly 400 bodies found in Gaza, mass graves. Weren't one of these graves wasn't it just like a reused or like an actual just fuck when I'm trying to remember. There were a bunch of bodies buried outside of a hospital, and I remember there was some fighting that happened, and then when there was like an explosion or something, some of these bodies were uncovered and people were like, oh my god, mass grave discovered. But it wasn't like a mass grave of like people who were murdered and thrown in a grave. It was like there was a ton of all the reporting on this was actual fucking AIDS for like 6 months at least. Well, I mean, all of it is still AIDS, but holy fucking shit.
There is no way for me to physically illustrate for you the true extent of this genocide. And that brings us to the main point of this video. Dickheads like Destiny deny the fact that Israel is committing genocide. This is beyond comprehension. Any honest person with the courage to look can instantly see what has been going on in Gaza for nearly 3 years now.
So courageous to join literally the most popular political movement online in the history of all the fucking world, which is Israel bad, Jew bad, and Palestine innocent and need to be protected, and, you know, get rid of AIPAC. What a brave position that is. Oh my goodness.
And it is objectively genocide. Anyone who wants to complain about how woefully unqualified I am to make that assessment, they can shut their dumb fuck faces, because you don't have to take my word for it. Every single human rights organization in the entire world has labeled this a genocide. Let me play a short clip from Mehdi Hassan, since he will be able to get this point across quite succinctly.
Gaza has been cut off from the world for almost 3 years and subjected to war crimes, ethnic cleansing, genocide. But if you say that, Israel and its supporters will accuse you of lying, of being anti-Semitic, of perpetrating a blood libel. So let me debunk this argument in less than 60 seconds by asking one very simple question. Start the clock. Do you believe Benjamin Netanyahu, Itamar Ben-Gvir, and Bezalel Smotrich about what's been happening in Gaza, or do you believe the UN Independent Commission of Inquiry, the UN Special Committee, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, the UN Special Rapporteur for the Occupied Palestinian Territories, 14 other UN Special Rapporteurs, the former UN Humanitarian Chief, UNICEF, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Bet Salem, Keisha, Physicians for Human Rights Israel, Doctors Without Borders, Oxfam, Save the Children, Christian Aid, Action Aid, Moses, the author of the book English Refugee Camp, Israel's Mossad, all of them, or Benjamin Netanyahu?
But Mehdi...
Those are the only two sides of that, by the way. And it's not even a question of what are the facts. It's a question of like, the most annoying thing too is it's a question of like, would you consider it a genocide? It's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine like a genocide where if one side surrenders, like everything stops. Like that's kind of hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine a genocide where the side being genocided like actively is continuing to hold hostages.
Shut your fucking pie hole, okay? I'm sorry, it took me a little too long. Okay, we have a side chat debate here. Palestine is Philistina, and KJV wasn't the original writing of Isaiah. And Free says Philistina did exist in Isaiah's time, but it's still Palestina. Not having to contain for 4 hours sounds horrific. It is at first, but once you get used to it, it's actually quite liberating. And when you do it, like when you take 4 hours between, and then you have one, and you go back, and you get another 4 hours in, and you're like, holy shit, I just had one cigarette in like 8.5 hours of my life. It's quite liberating. You realize you're capable of a lot more than you think you are. But it's still a process, because I still have to hold myself back from chain smoking once I get off of work, right? And so, again, that's what I'm doing right now. Because otherwise I might be chain smoking and watching other people's shit. But instead I'm here making sure that I spend 2 hours in the back cave, fucking streaming with y'all, doing my thing. And I have no cigarette breaks. And I'm just extending it out further and further. Yeah, I had a couple of cigarettes between the time I got off work and the time I came in here, right? Which was, well, let's see. I got off at 4:30, I started at 6, so within an hour and a half I had two cigarettes, and then came in here, right? So, just spacing it out. Why is the NKJV one of the few translations that translates in that, translates it or with the Philistines? Who the fuck are Philistines? Well, as Iggy Pop said in that Jim Jarmusch movie with Johnny Depp, Philistines are just fucking dirty people, right? Dirty, filthy people. Where the fuck do we leave off? Verse 29. I don't know what chapter we're in, so it does me no good. Okay, I think that's all we needed. Thank you. We'll get back to the video. Talking garbage. Now you can see why I'm all fucking manic and shit, right?
Against the other side and refuses to release them for some reason.
I mean, aside from the sloppy breakup that I've refused to accept for several months, I'm also working on my habits here and fucking loving life at work. I wish I could just stay at work 24 hours a day, then maybe I'd be a better person, I guess.
But it's just the most difficult question that these people have that I've never heard a good answer to, and there's a lot of them that you can ask. It's like, what's the difference between like a bad one-sided war or just like a really violent war and a genocide? Like, I don't know what the difference is. And I've never heard them actually enunciate a difference there. What is the difference between like a bad war or one-sided war versus like a genocide? I don't know.
Didn't you know that all of those organizations and all of those people are Hamas? The entire world hates Jews. Only Israel is telling the truth. Everyone else is a lying anti-Semite. Case closed. Anyway.
If they stopped calling it a genocide, what would the next point of contention you have be? I don't know. It depends on the specific claims they're making.
Now that I've spoken about it out loud, the next, 27 minutes we're spending together seems like an eternity, but I'm also very grateful for it. So there is utility there. And I'm not muted again, right? Okay, you are hearing me. Good. Just making sure.
But I think there's a lot of criticisms to be had for how Israel's conducted the war, especially some things that are like inexcusable. The WCK bombing, WCK or WKZ, the World Kitchen whatever truck bombing is probably the worst in terms of them fucking up like horribly. But if the mindset is like all these fuck ups are
Do you
intentional,
think that's the worst? It's not the complete decimation of Gaza. It was just when they bombed the food trucks. That's amazing.
and they're just trying to
or
murder
shut up the food trucks. I don't know if they bombed them, but yeah.
as many civilians, not as they can, but as many as they can get away with, even though they're clearly not getting away with it. But I don't know why they won't murder more or whatever. Like it's kind of it's a conversation non-starter. Like how do you make peace with a group of people that you think is literally trying to genocide the other side? Like it's stupid as fuck. You can't and then these same guys who will say, well, 90% of Israel is on board with this, and all of them are brainwashed to want to genocide the other side, and we can't even accept a two-state solution anymore because that's a part.
90% of Israel is on board, and 21% are of Arab descent. And the justification is that we need to get rid of these fucking dirty camel riding people, these fucking Arabs in our midst, right? We want our coastline back. We want to be able to see the ocean. Why can't I have beachfront property in Gaza? Because the borders weren't clearly defined. How is the UN not to blame for this? When you look at the map they drew out, it's fucking ridiculous and stupid. And I think the UN needs to take accountability and maybe redraw the borders and make something that's logical. That's logical as opposed to illogical. I don't know.
So we're going to do a one-state solution, but somehow all of these people are going
to reach an agreement on that. But I don't think the Israelis are on board with that.
to live in peace with each other. What the fuck?
Seriously, if y'all want to debate, Cat, DeFreak, we gonna host you here. I know some other people who might be willing to host you. If we're willing and able to keep the language straight, I want to make sure that we're not doing anything that might violate TOS. But we could get some good moderation in there. Real unbiased moderation. You could have a real fucking debate.
More effective than just listing organizations, we can go through the specific details which demonstrate that this is objectively genocide. Let's start with the death toll. You'll see propaganda peddlers on social media cracking up about how it's the only genocide where the population actually increased. Disgusting. It's impossible to get a true count, but any official numbers you'll see that hover around 70,000 killed are so far off the mark, it's insane. And anyone complaining that these are fabricated Hamas numbers, 70,000 killed, are so far off the mark, it's insane.
Do you know a casualty is not a death? Does he think that this said 240,000 deaths, and that's why he thought this was super far off? Did he not read this? But
and anyone complaining that these are fabricated Hamas numbers is brainwashed. An independent study in The Lancet estimated well over 180,000, half of which are children, and that was in July of 2024, 2 full years ago. Previous 180,000.
Want to make a bigger impact?
We got lucky. This is the first ad I think we've seen tonight.
Purdue Global gives you the tools. Build a better future.
Tools from Harbor Freight are doing hard work in real garage.
Discipline equals freedom. Oh, you motherfucker. They fucked me. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Fuck.
Fabricated Hamas numbers is brainwashed. An independent study in The Lancet estimated well over 180,000, half of which are children, and that was in July of 2024.
Wait. No. The fact that you got 3 of the, how many dozens of interpretations of the Bible wrong, I don't think is arrogance. But yeah, the crow is good here. Fucking whatever. They use Philistina depending on which flavor. Yeah, whatever. I don't think that matters so much. For me, I trust a commission authorized version of 50 professional translators who were all gathered in the same place over 100 more contemporary business-minded booksellers. So this is the, hold on, which book are we talking about? Oh, you're talking about the Bible. Okay, well, you know who else wrote a book? You know who else? Joe Smith wrote a book one time. And he was very happy with it.
2 full years ago.
This was...
Who cares? Who cares about the Bible?
Like an estimation based on...
NIV? Okay. Well, I'll have to look at the NIV a little more. I have New World Translations. I have the KJV. There's another one. I don't know. So that's like JWs and Mormons respectively, and then the Catholics use the KJV, right? The original KJV, not this other KJV. Yeah, I just want them to come to agreement about the one book, but they can't do that. So there seems to be an issue there. But that might be because of with the Tower of Babel and all that shit. Like God intentionally confused people so that nobody could understand His one true word, and so there's like dozens of iterations of it that are conflicting and doing all sorts of strange things there.
And like future deaths from bad conditions. This is like such a dumb. Oh my god. Like somehow like 15 or 20% of the population has been killed, but we just don't know it. I don't know.
Previous estimates had been much lower because they only took into account bodies that were identifiable and directly correlated with airstrikes or gunshots. But thousands of bodies have been totally vaporized, leaving...
Okay, and so I did criticize Dave on this point, that they're saying that absent nuclear weaponry, and even with nuclear weaponry, the total vaporization of bodies is very rare, highly unlikely. Whether or not they're able to get substantial fragments of those bodies to be able to identify them, still under rubble, cool. You gotta dig it out. Unknown mass graves also have to be dug out. So these are all estimated numbers. We cannot be completely certain, but obviously there's lots of fucking dead people that still have not been identified.
Nothing identifiable behind, and thousands more bodies are still buried under rubble from all the carpet bombing or in still undiscovered mass graves. Additionally, so many people have died from wounds, from general poor health, from starvation, from freezing to death because they sleep through the winter in paper-thin tents, from disease because there's near zero health infrastructure. All of these are victims of genocide.
Right. Casualties of war rather than direct victims of combat.
They are deaths caused by the total and complete destruction of a territory and everything a society needs to survive. And Israel hasn't stopped bombing Gaza.
It gets cold in deserts. I'm just curious whether January.
They had they had homes before they were bombed the shit out of. So when the homes were gone, yes, they are subject to the elements if they are living in tents because their homes were completely fucking decimated. Right, so that is a product of the war.
1st, Tel Aviv. January 1st in Tel Aviv typically brings mild winter weather with average daytime highs around 64 to 65 and nighttime lows around 50 to 51. Are people freezing to death in the Mediterranean? Is this happening? Okay, maybe.
Wait, you said. Wait, hold on. You said Tel Aviv? Where's he looking at?
65 and nighttime lows around.
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
When? Wait, hold on. Let's go back and make sure we're getting this right.
Weather.
By the total and complete destruction of a territory and everything a society needs to survive. And Israel hasn't stopped bombing Gaza.
It gets cold in deserts. I'm just curious whether January 1st, Tel Aviv. January 1st in Tel Aviv typically brings.
Okay, Tel Aviv is. Okay. Cool and wet with average daytime highs, and this is in Gaza, not Tel Aviv, around 64 degrees, nighttime lows dropping to 50 or 52 degrees, typically the coldest and wettest month of the year. So take into account if they are getting a lot of rainfall, right, that's going to, and what about windage? This is typically the coldest and wettest month of the year. 3 to 4 inches of rainfall spreading across 9 rainy days. So they're getting soaked, potentially, subject to winds in the middle of the night between 50 to 52 degrees. That could cause freezing, hypothermia, right? You could die from hypothermia that way.
Mild winter weather with average daytime highs around 64 to 65 and nighttime lows around 50 to 51. Are people freezing to death in the Mediterranean? Is this happening? Okay, maybe.
Gaza for a single day since July 2024, ceasefire or not. So the number is much higher now. Israel has murdered hundreds of thousands of Gazans.
I like how we just got to that. Okay. Oh my God. I thought the Gazan Health Ministry is still saying 70,000. I think it's like 70 to 75, but I don't know. Whatever.
Likely at least
white people want that number to be way higher, so it is, I guess.
20% of the Gazan population. That's genocide. It is a maximization of thousands of Gazans. Likely at least 20% of the Gazan population. That's genocide.
At least 20% of the Gazan population. So now we're past 400,000, at least 400,000, but okay.
It is a maximization of casualties while still maintaining their version of plausible deniability. They also specifically targeted hundreds of journalists, well over 1,000 doctors, and other key personnel publicizing the genocide and keeping citizens safe. That's genocide. The continued use of white phosphorus and other illegal weapons as documented by Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International. That's genocide. It's very easy to get much more...
How is that genocide? White phosphorus, you're not supposed to use it on humans, but you can use it to cover retreats or whatever. But even if you did use it, I'm pretty sure... I don't remember the specific distinction. It would be some kind of war crime, but it wouldn't be genocide. But
well, it's not one war crime. It's all of the accumulated war crimes, right? Like white phosphorus is one among many war crimes being committed.
I guess you theoretically could commit genocide with white phosphorus. You start like trying to genocide civilians with white phosphorus.
Granular with it as well. Francesca Albanese of the UN Refugee Agency published a report way back in March of 2024 that outlined a determination of genocide, and she has continued to update that report ever since. It documents...
I think the main one that we covered before and what we found out, like it's the targeting of not only military medics, but civilian medics in hospitals as well is a major war crime and contributes to many of the deaths, because if you target the people who heal the sick and injured, then you necessarily increase the death rate, right? Like that is a byproduct of what you are doing, and that in and of itself is a war crime.
Explicitly stated intent for genocide, the long list of violations of international law, systematic torture and sexual abuse of prisoners with no legitimate charge against them, a total erasure of culture, the stripping away of any sense of dignity for an entire people. Israel really hits every single point on the genocide checklist. For writing these reports and sharing these determinations with the UN, Francesca has faced a volume of harassment and threats to her personal safety that I can't even begin to imagine. And that's coming from someone who is harassed every day and receives threats sporadically. You heard Mehdi's...
The harassment that I couldn't even imagine. For her public stance, Albanese's life has been threatened and her family put in danger. She has faced the prospect of arrest in Germany for her choice of words. Okay. We have Donald Trump's administration has named her a specially designated national, a term usually reserved for terrorists, drug traffickers, and the occasional murderous dictator. She's the first UN official to receive the designation. I'm going to assume this article details other... It wouldn't surprise me if people were harassing her or whatever, I'm sure, because there are some mega pro-Israeli, or probably...
There's people harassing you. There's people harassing Professor Dave. Who's making death threats? Are those threats credible? I mean, we have to take all that into account, but people can just say a whole lot of shit. I remember after, when there was BLM, I think I still have a copy of the message from a dude who had previously tried to befriend me. Not defriend me, but befriend me. And we had kind of been on friendly terms, debating a little bit on the Facebook. He was the ex-husband of a musician chick that I know, who I was trying to pursue at the time, interestingly enough. And she's with another dude, nice enough couple, all that good shit. Fast forward. So after BLM, this guy randomly unfriended me and sent me a message, which was flagged by Facebook before I even got it. And he made kind of a veiled threat, but his remarks, his comments were towards, George Floyd. And he was like, blah, 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 you support this guy, fucking blah, blah, blah. And then he made kind of a threat against me. But I didn't take it seriously, right? Because I had had previous conversations with this guy. I was like, this is just some unhinged shit. Right? And we've never spoken since, as far as I can recall. That was kind of where we left off. But regardless, I don't know if there's actually a point to that story. Just that sometimes I get threats, like not often, but occasionally, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I had a more legitimate threat years ago when I threatened the show promoter in Sacramento from a biker gang, and they actually did drive by in my neighborhood a couple of times. And sent me a few specific threats about coming to my door. They mentioned that they knew where I lived, and my buddy at the time who I was staying with was well armed, and so I was just like, yeah, come on over and fuck around and find out. And of course, nothing ever came of it, and whatever, like We go through this shit. Like, if people are going to threaten you, are you prepared to defend yourself? Or do you know what constitutes a legitimate threat? Because most people who fuck around on the internet aren't willing to find out, right? There's a lot of bullshit out here, but you can't discount. I mean, that one of them may be credible. They may be more psycho than you, right?
Arab haters that I would imagine, but I'm just saying this. I'm sure it's in the article. I'm being charitable there, hopefully.
I can't even begin to imagine. And that's coming from someone who is harassed every day and...
What has she said, actually? Well, the Francesca Albanese, she was the special rapporteur lady or whatever for one of these, I think, right? I'm curious what she's actually said on this, actually, now. If Germany was considering arresting her, I don't know what prospect of arrest means. Francesca Albanese quotes Israel in her own word. Oh, the ADL! She's the first special rapporteur to be condemned by both Germany and France for anti-Semitism. Damn. Below are select statements from her. This no longer a fragile minority, no longer diasporic people, no longer the people of the book, but the chosen people chosen to dominate. That's not that bad. Albanese claims that Jews have learnt that to survive in this world, they need to be...
Learnt? No, I think that's learned. That's incorrect. You're grammatically incorrect there, sir.
Superior, okay. And so they've accepted the Jews, but not all of them, especially those that learned to survive in this world. Albanese likened the systematic extermination of Jews under the Nazis' pure race policy to Israel's war on Hamas and Gaza. Oh, everybody does the Nazi shit now. The Nazi comparisons seems to be like standard, the standard kind of like tropish talking points. I don't think I see anything like exceptionally horrible here. That's what I would expect to see. Fucking pro-pally lefty.
Google says I'm wrong. You can use them intersubjectively. Both are correct past tense and past participle forms of the verb learn. Okay. My bad.
People say.
Receives threats sporadically. You heard Mehdi's list, but let's expand a little. Human Rights Watch cited starvation as a weapon of war and the creation of conditions calculated to bring about the physical destruction of the Palestinian population. Doctors Without Borders cited the testimonies of doctors reporting that they routinely received children who have been shot in the head or chest by snipers, as we mentioned. UNICEF reported that essentially all of the million or so children remaining in Gaza need mental health and psychosocial support due to immeasurable trauma, especially the thousands who have lost limbs, usually amputated without anesthetic, and those who have lost their entire families. The International
Association... wild. Like, you think about, like, the Civil War, most of those people were adults. I mean, we had a kind of loose definition. Yeah, they had a lot of kids in the Civil War, too. But not most of them were what we would consider today adults, I think. And yeah, that shit was fucked up. Now, imagine being, like, a 5-year-old or something. Oh, God, just fucking horrific shit.
Association of Genocide Scholars stated that the legal definition is cleanly met, citing war crimes and crimes against humanity. Jewish Voice for Peace, Amnesty International, even several Israeli organizations. It's a long list of organizations, and the list of criteria that qualify this as genocide is never ending. 90% of Gazans displaced, absolutely all farmland unusable, continuous blocking of humanitarian aid, starvation and life-threatening malnutrition, mass executions of healthcare and rescue workers. Israel is...
Hey, he's doing the same thing here we saw earlier. See, I don't know how many screens he has or what he's looking at, but it seems like he looked up and away. Oh, there he covered his eyes.
It says genocide is never ending. 90% of Gazans displaced.
We're actually going to slow this down. Watch the reaction from Destiny right here. Can we slow it down? Maybe we can. Let's go 65%. Ready? Go.
Absolutely all farmland unusable, continuous blocking of humanitarian aid, starvation and life-threatening malnutrition.
Up and away. He is averting his gaze from the screen. He refuses to look at that image. That's what I see. Tell me I'm wrong. Up and away. Classic.
Mass executions of healthcare and rescue workers. Israel is a club of genocide overachievers. If you deny the fact that Israel is committing genocide...
And he rolls his eyes back to make sure that it's not there anymore.
You are no different from a club...
What should you do as a casual viewer to
now
not...
he's back. Right there. Up and away. He can't look at it. He knows what he's looking at.
Follow propaganda like this for the Jew shit. Honestly, this was like you had to read all the original sourcing on everything because everybody gets fucking mind fucked when it comes to Israel.
Oh, Kat, I'll probably be gone by then, but thank you for coming. If you do come back, fucking much love for being here. Again, the offer for debate is open. if you guys want the platform, more than happy to host. Let me know.
And then the sourcing is like you have to read, like oftentimes at least from the stuff that I've read on the UN with their treatment of Israel, the fact gatherings themselves are actually usually pretty good. They seem to be pretty in line to me. It's just like the conclusions you'll reach will become like very weird. The most prominent example of this had to do with when they went through the unjustified killings during the border riots or whatever. Like they use an analysis to tell you that like 120 people were murdered by Israel unjustifiably or whatever. But when you actually read the whole, I don't remember, it wasn't that long. It's like maybe, was it even 100 pages? The UN report on it. They explain their rationale for how they analyze it in the beginning, and they don't analyze it as an armed conflict event. They analyze it as a policing event. And when you use a policing event analysis, generally
what?
Speaking, I guess, I don't know if this is like an international standard, but generally speaking, police don't kill people unless there's like an imminent threat to your life.
What? Excuse me?
Policing event. And when you use a policing event analysis, generally speaking, I guess, I don't know if this is like an international standard, but generally speaking, police don't kill people unless there's like an imminent threat to your life. Like it almost has to.
I can't breathe.
Standard, but generally speaking, police don't kill people unless there's like an imminent threat to your life. Like it almost has to.
I have no weapons off.
National standard, but generally speaking, police don't kill people unless there's like an imminent threat to your life. Like it almost has to.
That was a sandwich, sir.
National standard, but generally speaking, police don't kill people unless there's like an imminent threat to your life. Like it almost has.
No. All right, we're gonna kick off a few minutes early here, or kick out whatever the fucking phraseology is here. No, what a bunch of fucking bullshit. Imminent threat to your life. Oh my fucking goodness! All right, we're entrenched, we're involved, and we're here. All right. That was about it. Reading the comments, I think Cat took off to make a sandwich or something. Maybe some soup. I think Cat's a fan of soup. I like soup as well. I might go get a soup right now. It's dinner time for me. So, we'll take a minute to acknowledge that there was a debate going on in the side chat that well, as I said, you can come here and was Philistia dissolved? There was no Philistia. They were just dirty people. It's not even true, man. I don't even know who Hezekiah was. But yeah, if you want to come debate it. I can moderate, because I know nothing about it, and I won't even fucking argue shit. Anyway, wrapping up. Make sure to wrap it up. No glove, no love. And that is the rule of the day. I'm going to probably take tomorrow off, and then we'll see what happens Saturday and Sunday. And then, as I said, next week I will have additional free time, recreational time. Can you hear me better now? What if I get real close to the mic like this? Do you like that, baby? Does it feel real good up in your ear hole? When I whisper to you, I tell you how much I love you, and I appreciate all of your support. I'm praying for you. I hope that everything gets better. I will give you anything you want if you just tell me that you love me, you need me, you want an ape in your life, and we can psychologize together, make a better, brighter future for humanity. If only we can understand each other. I'll be right here waiting for you. It will be so magical and majestic, and we can read together and take notations and then live stream about it and hold debate. It will be so amazing, beyond comparison. we'll have 1,000 orgasms in the sun. And then we will come together as one. Oh, this is the outro, Cat. Much love. Be kind, be well, and stay trusty. And if you dare, you'll return the next time. And maybe I'll try this again. I will adjust the microphone settings. All right. But yeah, this is the end of the stream. Are we ending the stream? Cue the outro music. Baby shark, bump dump dump, baby shark, bump dump dump, baby shark, bump dump dump, baby shark, bump bump. I have I need vocal exercises up here. All right, that's it. No, that's the end. That's all I'm doing. That's all you get tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Message me if you want it, and yeah, let's talk. We'll see you next time. Bye.